Hello, TCI family, Jonathan's Refuge, and all of our faithful followers and friends from around the world. Forgive my casual appearance. For those that don't know, I've been dealing with a lot of health, but it's been very a struggle this last few weeks here. I've really taken a toll ever since I started on the trail. Prior to that, my whole health was tanking fast. But I appreciate your prayers, your kind thoughts. And we see the doctor on Monday, so we'll get a date for the surgery. And then we'll have my stomach surgery, which will be an amazing thing because they'll be able to stop me from puking every day. Which, if I can stop puking, I can start hiking and walking and training and getting back out on the trail. So, anyways, let's get to the message today. What is the message today? It comes in a word called focus. What does focus mean to you? To focus on something, as an example, if you're using a GoPro, I've been taking and doing videos as I'm on the trail walking from Mexico to Canada. And I have to make sure that, Ty will tell me, hey, JB, when you're trying to focus on the mountain ranges out there, make sure you touch your screen to make sure it lets you know on the screen where you want the focus. So it'll either focus on something in the distance or up close. And I'm like, oh, okay. So depending on what I want to focus on. But what's interesting about the word focus is you will find the word focus in themes of men and women who have been successful in life. From scriptures, David was a man that was so focused. The king of Israel, he was the second king of Israel. He was known as the man who slayed Goliath. Remember the young shepherd boy who killed Goliath? That was David, who became king of Israel. And David's focus was, he had that zeroed in focus, that laser focus. When he set out to do something, he did it. If he set out to kill you and your people, you were done. The man, whatever he set his heart to get done, he didn't miss much of it. And so the word focus is a very important feature in our world that we don't take advantage of. And sometimes, we're focusing on other things, and you got to remember, we got to focus on everything sometimes. And that's not easy because you can't focus on everything at once, but you can't just focus on one part of your life. If all I focus on is my health, well, then my marriage is going to fall apart. But if all I focus on is my marriage, then my health could fall apart. You follow me? So you need to have focus evenly balanced across your whole life. Most of you know I just bought a motorcycle, another motorcycle. And this is a Harley Heritage 2006 with only 4,100 miles on it. I won't even tell you what I paid for it because it would just make everybody sick. I paid nothing. It was like a steal. This thing's pristine, only went out like twice a year for a few miles each year. For 18 years, this thing just sat in a garage and did nothing. She is just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful girl. Now, I know writing. I've been doing it for my whole life. You hit that brake on that back too hard, the bike goes real quick, Heritage on the Harley Heritage is, for whatever reason, and that range there, when you touch that brake, just not even hard, just it likes to lock up that back brake, especially on a slick surface or a hot day when the oil's all bubbling up and the roads are a little slicker, or on a rainy day even, or in the morning when the dew is still on the ground. But I was coming home from buying the bike, and I had taken my focus off of, my focus wasn't on motorcycle riding. My focus was on just driving, right? Transportation. I just drove to the office, picked up an employee, drove back to the store, dropped me off. So I was driving, and now I'm driving back, but I'm not in motorcycle focus. I'm still focusing like I'm some car driver. And the car's locked up, which is no biggie. I can stop, right? Oh, crud. I hit that brake just a little too much. Not a lot, just a little. And that bike went. Now, thank God I know how to ride a motorcycle, and I know how to compensate and fix those things and not wreck or do anything bad. But my focus was off just for a split second. What if I wasn't trained? What would have happened had I not been trained? I'd have smashed right into the back of that car and could have easily died. Easily. If I had not been properly trained, had I not had experience by mentors who trained me in motorcycles, who took me out, who then showed me why things happen when you touch certain parts of your bike and when you lean in certain directions, why does it move, and the actual science behind it and the engineering behind it. And then when you understand it, it's different. And then applying it and understanding are two different things. I can understand everything, but then go and apply it. It's a whole other machine. So I took my focus off just for a second. Again, recovered it. This weekend, my wife, the first lady of TCI, we went out on the boat. We took my best bud. We went out, and Brian, my co-captain, we went out on our boat, and I was all excited because this was going to be my first day. I've been driving boats for a long time, but speed boats, just speed boats. Keep that in mind. Speed boats and fishing boats. But this is an ocean cruising yacht. It's 32 feet hull to stern, but bow to stern. But you got the plate on the back and the thing on the front, so it's 39 freaking feet is what you're working with, the 39-foot boat. And so these things don't. And it's an older boat, so it doesn't have all those bow thrusters and things that all these big new yachts have. So you can literally just tweak this little knob, and the boat can go sideways without nothing happening, because you got bow thrusters and stuff like that. But I took it out, and so we came out, and you always have the poles. The reason boaters have those is so that you get a guy on the stern, and you get a guy on the bow, and someone's up there just in case the boat turns too much, the wind blows it towards the other side. How do you adjust that big of a boat? You don't, and so you got to push yourself off. So Brian was in the back and CC was up front, and I took off good. My takeoff was great. And we got out of the harbor, and Brian was there down below, and he was on the side, and he was giving me instructions, because Brian is a seasoned captain. He's a seasoned boater. He's a seasoned man in these kind of vessels. And so he's taken the boat out now twice with me, but he skippered it out each time and skippered it in. And I wanted that training, and I wanted to see it. So I said, do you mind? And he's like, not at all. And I said, good. So I got up there, and we got out, and we went out about an hour towards Point Roberts. It was amazing. Started getting choppy and windy. And my first lady of the TCI was underneath with the bell, and they were not having it. So I pulled over like we were going to hung a left, and got closer to the shore so we could get the windbreak. Flipped the bow around real quick, spun her, boom, got into the wind behind us, and it was perfect, and it was a beautiful ride. We went on back in, had a great little time getting back in. But we're coming in, and I had to pull into our dock. So you have a slot on the dock, and we were in C dock, but me and Brian picked actually the dock before C dock, so we were wrong. And we went down, and I'm thinking, this ain't it. And we get down there, and I'm thinking, that's supposed to be our boat slip, and that's not it. And Brian's like, oh, man, we went down the wrong one. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, my bad. And it was my fault, too. And so I was like, no worries. We'll just back up. And he's like, no, let's practice. It's great for practice. And I'm like, no, I don't want to practice. So I did. I took the boat, and I stopped it just like I was going to back it into our slip. And then I reversed, one engine reversed, one, forward. And the boat kind of pivots, and then went back, both back, and then put them forward. And then as we got clear of the dock, Brian told me I was clear. Then went ahead and hit my rudder, spun her, hit the throttle. And as I did, I was a little too concerned that I already had the front too close, in my opinion, to the other side. So I overcompensated. And in doing so, that back end just went boop like that. So Brian's running to the edge to put that stick, with the big plastic thing to push us off of another boat, which I had the big buoys on the side of our boats, and it just pushed up against them. But the point is, focus. Just a second. My focus was laser focused. Make no mistake. I was fully aware. I was on my fly bridge. I am everything. My head's on a swivel, but I overcompensated in an area. And so sometimes we can over focus so much that we overdo it. It's okay. Take it easy. You got this. That's why I had someone on the front. That's why we had someone on the back. And that's why every time we take our boat out, there's always someone on the front and on the back for Brian and for me. And that way we know we're always going to be able to get out of there safe. But it's about focusing. Right now, I'm trying to get my health as priority. So my life is focused on that. Make no mistake, I'm still running my companies. Everyone thinks that, JB, you don't run your company. I still run my company. I still run my church. I run it all. But right now, I'm focusing on this one specific thing called health. Trying to get it under control. Trying to find a way to get these physical problems resolved. Because I refuse to sit back in life and be that cripple who just says, okay. They got me on some heart meds. They fixed it. The heart, the blood pressures, if you're wondering, they're amazing. They're like nothing. They're normal. 130s over 70s. On a bad day, I'll have like 130 over 90 or something. Amazing blood pressures. Last week here, it's been amazing. But they got me so doped up on heart meds that it's like you exhausted all day, every day. And so when you go to an old person's home, the retirement homes. I remember I own a construction company. One of our contracts we had once was with retirement homes, two massive retirement homes. And the people are kind of like zombies. And you know what I'm talking about. If you ever went to visit your grandparents, they're kind of like all like just in that zombie state, vegetated, just like staring at the TV. Like, because they on all these heart meds. And they just dope them up. And that's what they've got going. And so now I'm fighting that. And it's, how do you fight that? With focus. With focus. Because with focus, you can overcome almost anything in this world. Yes, there are things we cannot overcome. I still cannot fly. So climbing a mountain and falling off the rocks is not an option for me because I can't fly still. Okay, I can't overcome that. I haven't figured out how to overcome it yet. I'm working on it. Maybe a jetpack that's light, ultra lightweight jetpack. So if I fall, I can to safety. But what you focus on, man, be careful because it's so easy to focus on the wrong things. If you're focused on image, now don't take this the wrong way. Being a sharp-dressed man for a job interview, very important. Being prepared and looking at your best to allow people in society to see you and see the best version of you, very important. And so there's nothing wrong with taking pride in who you are. But if all you care about is image, I could have gone out this week. I went to the dealership and they're like, sir, with your credit, we can get you into this motorcycle for $41,000. And that boat over there, we can throw in. It's special. It's only a total of $35,000. So for $76,000, it can all be yours. And you get to walk right out of here because you don't have to put a dime out of your pocket. And if I needed to let the Joneses next door know that the Browns got something the same as them or better, I guess that's what I would have done. But I could care less about that image at all. I got myself a great Steel, and I'm happy. And I'm enjoying this beautiful bike that I paid barely anything for. And it's a gorgeous bike. But focus. What are you focused on? Your focus can be zeroed in, but it can be zeroed in on the wrong things. If your attitude isn't proper, then you're never going to climb anywhere in life. Your altitude will always keep you is where your attitude is. Your attitude will never take you further. Life doesn't take you further than your attitude. So you got to start with your attitude. That's why we always talk about start with our thoughts. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's tattooed on my wrist. It's tattooed on me. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So who are you? What is your focus? And these are important questions you have to start asking yourself. Because if you can't answer them, then you're not going to be successful until you can answer them. Until you can actually spit them out. Practice these things. I'd go down to the ocean in Huntington Beach. I had all of these cue cards, and I'd sit there. What is my goal? What is my plan to get there? What does my execution look like? I had all these things and I just practice and practice and practice. And people used to go, dude, I'm going to be at the bar. You want to come party? You want to go hang out? I want to go do all this stuff? We'll go chill. We'll do. No, I'm good, man. I gotta practice. I got a sales meeting tomorrow, and I want to be number one. Well, you're number one like 2-3 times a week. No, you're not hearing me. I want to be number one in the world. I don't want anyone to even mistake that there was even someone close to me. I don't want anyone to even have the thought that they're like, yeah, oh yeah, you know what I'm like, that guy JB in sales. No. What they're all going to say is, so there's JB and then there's the rest of us. And that's how I spent my life. And so, of course, instantly my sales took off because I didn't go chill with the guys. When I was traveling the globe and I'm running these massive sale organizations where I got the company's black card where I could go buy anything I want, as much as I want, take the guys out and gals out, go wherever, whenever, however we want. The guys would all want to go out to strip clubs, party. I'd want to go to museums and learn. So there's a different mindset because all they cared about was living for the now. And I had mentors telling me if I want to enjoy the present, I got to also plan for the future. There's a balance. And to do that, you got to have focus. So what are you focused on? I was on parole before. I understand the whole concept of being on paper and what that's like. So your sole focus is that and that only. There is no other focus. That is your focus. And then everything else permeates from that. I've been divorced. It's a horrible thing to go through. I've been to prison for things I've done. I've been to prison for things I haven't done. I've been beaten and I've beaten. And I look back at all of those things, and it's interesting how focus was either not there or I was so focused on something that I couldn't even see the big picture. You can get so zoned in on stuff. And if you have to do that for a purpose, make sure you've got good mentors around you that can look at you and pay attention to see you and grab you and say, hey, knucklehead, step out for a second. Look back, look what you're doing. Oh man, I'm not even going in the right direction. I was headed east. How the heck did I start going south? Because we get so focused, we start entrenching ourselves and dig so deep we can't see up. That's what mentors are here for. See, I didn't go out on a boat because I know how to boat. Of course I know how to boat. Got a license that says I can do it. Been doing it for years. But taking a speedboat out on a lake is nothing in comparison to taking this 39-foot boat out of the harbor where everyone's boats are $1 million for these boats. There are hundreds of thousands at least. A few of them that might be, $30,000, $40,000 boats. But they're so expensive, and you're like, I just don't want to wreck. Forget being embarrassed about being the worst skipper in the thing. I just don't want to wreck. It's expensive. What's your focus in life? What are you worried about? Where is your focus at? Is it on your worries, or is it on things that you can control? Things that you can't control? These are all great questions you've got to start asking yourself. As I'm asking them, I'm thinking for myself. Well, what am I focused on? What am I scared of? I'm scared of leaving my wife without my 5-year plan done. I have a 5-year plan. If I put this 5-year plan in motion, my wife will never have to worry for the rest of her entire life. She can spend the rest of her life living however she wants to, enjoying life. That'll make this guy feel so good. So I have this focus, right? But I also got to remember to take and look at the big picture. Don't forget that if I only got a few years left, so I still have a chance to live some of those with my wife. So what did you see us do this week? You saw us take a nice motorcycle ride, something we don't do that often. We don't get out there and do those things too much lately. But we're changing that because you got to look at the focus of the big picture. All right. So when you think about focus, I want you to ask a bunch of questions this week to yourself. Where's your focus? Are you too focused? Do you have people looking at you to make sure if you're too focused that they can help pull you up and let you see where you're going to make sure you're still heading in the right direction from where you plotted your course? And so as you look at someone like a King David in the Bible to aspire to when it came to his focus, at the end of his life, the kingdom had been expanded dramatically. He was a true success. But his focus was always in violence. And he lived by the sword. And the old saying is, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And he had a life of betrayal in his life. I unfortunately followed that same lifestyle. So You live by the sword, you die by the sword. And I have had the same betrayals in my life as a lot of the same ones that David has gone through. And I think of focus, so we got to think about our focus and figure out how to get us to stay on track. And that takes focus. So I love you guys. As you're focusing this week, let's make sure you guys focus on living positive. And remember, our attitudes will determine our altitudes. Our focus is where all of our efforts will go. And if we're truly having a positive attitude, focused in the right direction, there's nothing you guys can't accomplish. I know that, and you know that. And I can't wait to see you out there showing the world that. God bless.